welcome to my art room. I'm Danae, and today I am going to do another in my Color Cube series. And today's color palette is number 14. It is very calm, very serene, beachy. Who doesn't love the beach? It's a wonderful color palette. Very soothing. So for pink, I have this pink. It's in a Nova Color container, but it's just paint I mixed myself. It's some red, some yellow, and some white, and it makes a really beautiful pink. I'll probably add some more white to it to get into this even more pastel. For beige, I have warm gray. I think this is about the best color match I have. And I have, this is a Master's Touch acrylic called warm gray, but this definitely looks beige. So I don't know, we'll experiment with those two. For clay, I'm going to substitute bronze because I love metallics and I don't have a lot of browns. I don't have any good match for sand, so I'm not sure. That one might be missing from this painting today. And for taupe, I have this pewter by Amsterdam. It's a little tiny tube. It's just 20 milliliters, I think. 20 milliliters. Yeah, 20 milliliters, 7 fluid ounce, 0.7 fluid ounces. So anyway, I thought that was probably a really close match, the dark end of this taupe. So yeah, and I've got some, I pulled out 2 temper paint sticks that are kind of in that pinky range. So we'll see. And I'm going to work today in this little postcard-sized mixed media notebook. It is 4 by 7 inches. It's by Fabriano and it's sold at a store called Hobby Lobby here in the States. And it is 110 pounds. So I've done several paintings in here. Some of these were recorded, some of these have not been. So yeah, that's the plan, and let's get started. I'm going to get started by making some marks on the page to give me something to work from, and I draw this little grid. I decided that that pink was too bold, and so I've covered it over now with this lighter pink, and this grid is just kind of to mark off some edges. If you're thinking about the rule of thirds, you know, a third to the top, a third to the sides, to the top and bottom. It's just so that I can like visualize where I want things to go. And I'm starting here with my pink, and I'm using my color scraper, which is one of my favorite painting tools. So I can lay down the paint, I can scrape in places to make it thinner, I can leave it thicker in some places. And here's this warm gray, which looks very beige. And I'm just going to lighten it up with some white, and I've added some of the pink so that it will harmonize with the color I've already got on the page. And you can see I've laid my paint on quite thick. So I've already lost some of those underpainting layers, which is fine. I let that dry, and I'm coming in now with the bronze, which doesn't show up on camera with any justice. It is such a beautiful color, and against that pink, it just really looks amazing and yummy. So this is a stencil from Joggles. It's called Kaleidoscope Mask, and I'll put the link to the stencils. Well, it's not a link, but I will put the information on the stencils in the description box if you're interested in looking for these yourself. And I'm using my blender brush, and oh, it's so beautiful. So I let that dry. So each layer I'm letting dry before I move on so that I can lay my stencil down and not smudge the paint. This is the pewter, which is really an interesting color. It's kind of a silvery bronze. It's just beautiful. And I love this stencil. It's called Bumps. It's also from Joggles. Makes some really, really fun shapes. And I was kind of looking at that inspiration picture with the seashells on the beach. These are clearly not seashells, but I don't know, they could be rocks or, interesting things in a beautiful bronzy sand. I'm adding gesso, this is clear gesso, so that I can really scrape this next layer of paint. I want to push those pewter shapes into the background so they're not just sitting directly on top. I want them to kind of mix into the background. So the gesso is just going to help me spread this paint really thin. Plus, this is a paint that I've had for a while. It's kind of old. I don't use these little craft paints very often, but I have them. So I try to use them, when I can, to use them up. I'd rather use them up than throw them out dried. But it is kind of an old paint, and so it's a little bit sticky. So the gesso just helps me to rub it in and make it thin. And here I'm just coming in with a cloth to really further distress it. I'm not removing all the paint, but it is adding a really interesting layer of texture. This warm gray is a beautiful color, and I start here by thinking I want it to be kind of scratchy and random. And against that pink, it's just a beautiful color. It really, really works well. And so I do something very similar, and I come back in with my cloth. You'll see I'm spreading out the ink now just with this skewer, but I'm going to come back in with the cloth and really rub it in so that I have more of it all over. I'm not removing the paint completely, but I am rubbing it in and then I let it dry. And because I added those layers on top, I lost the intensity of the bronze. So I'm going to use my color shaper and very lightly paint and sort of scrape the paint onto the top layer again to bring that vibrancy back. But I'm being very careful not to cover up the layers underneath because I want them to come through. And after looking at the color card, I kind of felt like the inspiration color really was more focused on the browns and the grays, and that pink is really subtle in the inspiration picture. And since I've taken my inspiration from it, I decided to add some more of the warm gray and some of the pewter as well. But I don't want to lose the pink completely. So I'm coming in here with my third stencil and I'm adding a little bit more pink right down the middle. So it will be the star of the show. And I just want it to be very rough. I don't want the paint to be very solid. So this is nearly the end. This is the last thing I'm going to do. This is a jelly roll in white. And I'm going to outline these little stones or shells on my beautiful bronze beach. And I am trying to be very careful with the outline, keeping it very clear and around the edges. This project just turned out so beautifully, and working small, it's relatively quick, which is always fun as well to really get to the end result pretty fast, and it just is beautiful. Look at the stencil work in the background and the pink. And the way the bronze shimmers is just gorgeous. I am really, really happy with the way this turned out. Thanks for joining me today, and all the best on your artistic journeys. I hope that you have a great day out there wherever you are. And if you want to keep the inspiration flowing, then click on one of these videos. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!